Hey everybody, on this edition of Grilling with Granddaddy Daddy, I was told you cannot cook over the top chili on a 22-inch Weber Kettle grill. Let's find out. I think you can. I think it's going to be good. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's chop up some garlic. Okay, so we got our garlic chopped up. We'll put that in our 5-quart Dutch oven. Now we still have to chop up our onion, our 2 jalapeños, and our bell pepper. All right, let's get this bell pepper chopped up. Okay, so we got the bell pepper chopped up. Now let's put the bell pepper into the Dutch oven. And now we do our jalapeños. Okay, so we got our jalapeños chopped up. Let's put our jalapeños into the Dutch oven. All right, now we're going to put our onions in our Dutch oven. Okay, all right, so we're going to have to saute this. So right now we're going to set this aside, and now we're going to mix up our meat. Okay, so not going to do a whole lot to our ground beef because we're going to have plenty of seasoning for everything else. But what we are going to do with the ground beef is we're going to put some cayenne pepper on it. And I'm using 93-7 and 70-30. I figure that makes a good compromise between the two. All right, now we're going to use a little bit of butt rub. Maybe about 3 tablespoons. And we're going to use some garlic salt. Probably about 2 tablespoons. All right, so we'll mix this up. All right, one more thing that we need to do is we need to put a little Worcestershire sauce in the meat. And I'm gonna say maybe it's probably a tablespoon or so. And we're gonna mix that up. I'm gonna just make a ball. Let's get our plate over here where you can see it. I'm just gonna make a hamburger ball. Now, the thicker we make this, the longer it's going to take to cook, because we want this ground beef to be at 150 degrees. So I think that's the size I'm going to put it, because that will fit perfectly over the Dutch oven, and that's what we want. Okay, so now we got everything chopped up. We got the meat seasoned, ready to go. Now we're going to go outside and we're going to saute the peppers and the onions. Once we get the peppers and the onions sauteed, then we're going to dump in the diced tomatoes, the crushed tomatoes, and the light red beans. And then it's go time. Okay, so we got our camp stove going. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to saute the onions and the peppers, the bell peppers, jalapeno peppers. You can do this without sauteing them, but I would strongly recommend that you saute the vegetables, because even though we're going to do probably 3 hours over the top, the onions especially will not be like you want them if you don't saute them first. All right, so we're just stirring them around. Okay, so we've sauteed our onions and our peppers. Now we're gonna dump in our crushed tomatoes. And we're gonna dump in our diced tomatoes. And we're gonna dump in our drained light red beans. I'm gonna mix that around. I've got my spices, I'm gonna dump them in. We'll mix them around. Okay, now, my chili's a little bit thick, so I'm gonna take some beef broth. And I'm gonna put about 15 ounces of beef broth in it. And that's gonna be enough. We're gonna mix that around. We'll mix that around. And we're gonna get the Weber Kettle grill at about 275 degrees. And we're gonna put this on and let it cook down. So we've got everything ready. Let's get it on the grill. Right, we've got our temperature where we want it. Let's get this chili going. All right, so there we go. That's our setup. We got coals all the way around. We're gonna let it go for about 30-40 minutes, and then we're gonna put a temperature probe in the meat. We're going to 150 degrees on the meat. We're gonna bust the meat up, we're gonna put it in the chili, and we're going for 2 hours after that. All right, I wanna throw a little bit of applewood chip in here for some smoke. All right, let's cover it back up. Rock and roll. All right, so we got our temperature dialed in at 275. So now what I want to do is put my temperature probe in my hamburger meat, my ground beef. Now we're not going to turn this meat, we're going to leave it right there and just let it render into the chili. And we're going for about 155 degrees. All right, so our meat is done. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We'll take our temperature probe out. I'm gonna take my Dutch oven and the meat over here to the table. Okay, so now we've got to put the meat in the chili. I'm gonna take my grate off. Okay, now I'll put on a different pair of gloves. And I'm gonna crumble this ground beef up into the chili. I'm gonna leave me a piece because I'm hungry. All right, so now we're gonna put this back on the grill. Now we're gonna let it cook for about 2 more hours. Just to thicken it up. All right, so that's what we got. I want to thicken it up a little bit more. We're still running about 275. All right, let's take this chili off the grill. Let's have a taste. See what it tastes like. Doesn't that look good? All right, let's set it over here on the table. Let's have a little bit of chili. All right, now I got to put some Fritos in the chili. And these are barbecue Fritos, so that's the best kind to go in chili. It's tasting the over-the-top chili on the Weber Kettle grill. I was told you couldn't even do that. Wow. Let's see if you can. Man, that was good. I'm gonna put the whole recipe down in the description, and hope y'all enjoy it. If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Otherwise, until next time we see y'all at the grill, y'all keep on grilling.